A crash. A free fall. That sickening lurch in your stomach when you look at your screen and see Bitcoin, the myth, the promise, the portal to some imagined future, dropping fast. Maybe you're feeling it now. Maybe you remember a time when you did, hands trembling over the mouse, asking, what do I do? What can I possibly do in times like these? If this resonates with you, if somewhere that spark of curiosity, anxiety, hope or even defiance burns, you're in the right place. Welcome to Crypto 101 Central. I'm here to tell you my story, not as a trader, not as a guru, not as a fortune teller, but as someone caught in the squall who learned to breathe through the storm. Before we wade deeper together into these tumultuous waters, I want to gently invite you, subscribe to this channel. If you crave honest, personal, and maybe sometimes uncomfortable takes, this is your home. And as you do, tap the bell too, so you don't miss the next time I open up about these moments that keep us up at night, or that push us to dream bigger, even, maybe especially, when things get ugly. So, let's step back. As I'm filming this, Bitcoin has just been on one of those roller coaster plunges again. The price, $70,000, $60,000, $50,000, who knows? It moves, it spirals, it dances through the numbers with a kind of reckless grace. But oddly, the numbers, whether written or scrawled in red and green, don't really matter. It's not about exactly where it sits. It's about what you do when everything wobbles. It's about the choices you make when your emotions threaten to pull you under. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, wind howling around your ears, and the world beneath your feet rumbling. That's what it can feel like when Bitcoin drops suddenly, 20% gone in 1 week, then back up, then another 15% slide. It feels personal, almost like a betrayal, but it's not. It's nature. Bitcoin is volatile. It is wild, storm-born, forged in uncertainty. It's always been this way. From the end of 2017, when it crashed 85%, down through those relentless 72%, 54%, 77% spirals. Even these past years, up, down, up, down. No lullabies, no gentle rides. You might be wondering, why stay? Why not be clever? Sell here, buy there, ride the waves, outsmart the chaos. Why not snatch profits like a hunter stalking prey? That question haunted me. For years, I tried to answer it, not just with logic and numbers, but with sleepless nights and the salt taste of regret. There are, in truth, 3 ways to respond to the crash. 3 roads at the crossroads. 3 voices in your head. The first says, sell at the top, buy at the bottom. Time the market, be the eagle, always watching, always poised to strike. And sometimes, that calls to me. The charts beckon, the patterns seduce. It all looks so obvious, afterward. But the problem is, life isn't lived in hindsight. You're never looking at the finished chart. You're living every flicker, every feint, uncertain whether the line heading down bottoms out tomorrow or keeps sinking. To win this game, you must be perfect, not once, but over and over. Hit the high, catch the rebound, never flinch, never second guess. Never miss those 10 rare, radiant days each year when Bitcoin leaps skyward, carrying all the year's gains in its wake. Miss those days, and you're left hollow. In 2019, the 10 best days meant 200% returns. The rest? -39. 2021, 180% gained in 10 days, but the other 355 days, -43. You must be present, poised, placed perfectly, every time. Miss the best days, lose a quarter of what you've built. Try again, miss more, lose even more. Trading, like standing at a roulette table, eats at your soul. And let's not forget the silent thieves creeping at your feet, fees, slippage, missed entries, the government knocking, hands outstretched for its due with every taxable sale. Each trade a small stone thrown in your path that becomes a mountain over a decade. Even the emotional toll, panic and euphoria, second-guessing, addiction to the flicker of green and red. It adds up. Then comes the second path. The throttle, the compromise. You keep buying, always buying, but with a cautious hand. Buy heavy when it's cheap, pull back when it's dear. Dance with volatility, a more elegant one, perhaps. I tried this, too. I told myself, trust the charts. The 200-week moving average, every time Bitcoin grazed it, it signaled a historic buy. The MVRV, spiking up at the peaks, diving for bargains. I thought, finally, I found the code. But charts are only maps, and sometimes, the territory shifts under your feet. The world changes. What's expensive moves up, and by the time you act, the moment has skittered away. Throttling feels wise, but in truth, it is just a softer version of market timing, subject to the same ghosts, the same regret of capital left on the sidelines. I realized, each time I hesitated, each time I waited for the perfect price, I gathered fewer and fewer satoshis. The risk wasn't mitigated, it was simply transformed, from price risk to opportunity cost, from fear of loss to inevitability of missing the surge. Which brings me, finally, to the third road, the least poetic, the simplest, the most quietly rebellious. Relentless, unremarkable accumulation. Buy on a schedule, do not flinch, every week, every month, let the chaos swirl, and simply buy. This is the road of patience, the path of endurance, and strangely, it is the one that works. You see, patience is not passive. Patience is stubborn, patience is defiance. History, if you care to listen, is a graveyard filled with traders clinging to missed fortunes and a pantheon lined with legends who simply held on. Elon Musk didn't become the richest person on Earth by trading Tesla stock. He held it through the 75% dips, through the catastrophic 50% plunges. Jeff Bezos, he rode Amazon through cataclysm, through chaos, through the dot-com collapse when everything whispered, run. He held on. He became extraordinary through patience. Warren Buffett once said, if you're not willing to hold a stock for 10 years, don't even consider holding it for 10 minutes. That's the spirit I carry, or try, painfully, to carry, when the storms hit. Ownership, not speculation. Faith, not frenzy. But maybe you're wondering, why? Why accumulate Bitcoin? Why not just use these wild rides to chase more dollars? Here's the answer that throbs at the center of my being. I believe Bitcoin is not just a trade. It is a revolution, a tectonic shift, not only in technology but in the spirit of our age. The world is splintering, unipolar turning multipolar, trust eroding, governments clutching at power, old systems weaponized, and sovereignty retreating behind walls. In this chaos, the old standards, gold, fiat, even those trusted ledgers, crack beneath the strain. To me, Bitcoin is the answer that allows us to step beyond tribalism and control. It is the possibility of a neutral, borderless reserve. It is the hope of exchanging value, instantly, securely, permissionlessly, across borders and years. Physical gold glitters, yes, but it can't leap across oceans or settle debts in the blink of an eye. If I am right, and yes, it's an if, but I hold it close, Bitcoin will, over the next decades, absorb a place among the world's greatest stores of value. Real estate will remain vast, but just beside it, perhaps, a tower built of Bitcoin, rising, persistent. The honest truth? My greatest fear isn't losing dollars. It's losing the chance to own enough Bitcoin when this transition is over. The only mistake that haunts me is not holding enough. That's why, in the rush, in the crash, in the tempest, I just keep buying. Not recklessly, but faithfully. So, if you found a piece of your story in mine, if these words echo somewhere in you, do me a favor. Pause for a beat, drop a like on this video so I know you're out there, so I'm not alone in my wild conviction. And leave a comment. Tell me, how do you weather the crash? What do you believe? What rule burns in your own chest? And as you finish, don't step away. Watch the next video. Maybe the one where I show the numbers behind that future, or the one where we look volatility in the eye together. And, if these words meant something to you, subscribe, tap the bell, walk this road with me. The world may be breaking, but together, we can all keep building. Until next time, towards your success, and to holding on, always.